Welcome to this NRICH webinar, which is taking place as part of Maths Week London. Although I'm delighted to see that we have classes from all over the world. How wonderful. We are recording now, so you won't be able to put your microphone or your cameras on for the duration of the event. We'll be asking you to participate using the chat at various points. Now, many of you are introducing yourselves on the chat, which is fantastic. It would be wonderful to know whereabouts you're from. Teachers, if you could write a message on behalf of your class, and maybe even tell us how many of you there are there working in your class today. I'll give you a few minutes to do that, and then we'll introduce ourselves and we'll get going properly. Wow, the messages are coming in thick and fast. I can hardly keep track. Fantastic. So while you're just continuing to do that, we'll introduce ourselves. My name is Liz Woodham, and I'm one of the members of the NRICH team. We're based here in Cambridge, in the UK. And I'm joined today by Charlie and by Ems. And the three of us will be leading the webinar for you this morning. We're really looking forward to doing some mathematics with you, and as I say, we're going to be inviting you teachers to post up your class's thoughts and ideas using the chat, please, today. The idea of this webinar is specifically to introduce you to a few of our latest mathematical games. Now, the idea is that all of these games are going to require you to think strategically, which is a really important skill to have as a mathematician. Now, we're really just going to be whetting your appetite, because we're not going to be giving you time this morning to come up with completely ironed out and polished strategies for the games. We're just going to give you a taster, which will mean that after this morning, you can spend some time back at school and even introduce some of these games to your family at home. So you'll be having we're expecting you to have things to think about still after this morning. Also, we're hoping that the webinar this morning will be some good preparation for what we've got on offer over the summer holidays. We're planning to publish a daily challenge, most of which are games, all of which will require more strategic thinking. So hopefully this will whet your appetite for our summer offering as well. And we'll tell you more about that towards the end of the webinar. Okay. Are we ready to play our first game? I'm hoping we are. I'm going to share. I'm hoping that you can see some counters. Charlie, I'd like to take you on at this game. Are you ready for a challenge?
I am.
Great. So we've got some counters here, Charlie. We're going to take it in turns to choose either one counter or two counters, and the winner is whichever one of us takes the last counter or the last counters. Would you like to go first?
Okay, so I can take either one or two.
Exactly, one or two.
And the colours don't matter.
The colours are irrelevant in this game. Yeah, they could be all the same.
Okay. I don't know. I'll take a couple, please.
A couple. Okay, I'll take two. So there we go. We'll move those ones. Okay, so now it's my turn again. I can take one or two. I'll take two as well.
So it doesn't make any difference what I've taken. You take.
No. If you take two, I could also take two. If you take two, I could take one. It makes no difference. You always have the choice of one or two. Your turn.
Okay. I took two last time. I'll take one this time.
Okay. Well, I think I'm going to take two, and look, I win. Woo! Do you want another go?
Yes, yes. Okay, so last person to clear the decks.
Exactly. Last person to clear the decks. I'll tell you what, shall we play, why don't we play with a few more counters this time? I'm going to add in a few more. Just check we can see them all on the screen. Yeah, I think we can see them all there.
Okay, so perhaps I lost because I started. So I'm going to let you start this time.
Okay, that's kind of you. All right then. I'll take one to start with.
Okay, I'll take a couple.
All right. I'll take one.
I'll take a couple.
Okie dokie. I think I might take two.
Oh, so
Something wrong?
if I take one now, I imagine you'll take two. And if I take two, I imagine you're going to take one. I think I've lost again.
I think you might have done, Charlie. Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to get my own back later.
So it's now over to you back at school. We'd like you to have a bit of a think about this game. Now, don't worry if you haven't got counters to hand. It may be that you've got something else you could use, some other items. But if not, don't just scribble. You could just draw circles to represent counters and then, cross them out to mimic taking them. You can find your own way of recording. That's up to you. But what we'd like you to do is have a go at playing this game, either in pairs or maybe even a pair against another pair, and because then you'll be able to chat to somebody about your moves. We're going to give you a few minutes, up to about 5 minutes, to have a think about the game. When we come back together, we're going to challenge you. We're going to ask for a volunteer class to play against me. Now, remember what I said at the beginning, we're not giving you very much time. So it may be that you won't have formed, a completely coherent strategy, but use the time to see whether you can think about any types of strategy. Charlie pointed out there at the end that there were 3 counters left. Maybe that might help you to think about. If you come up with some ideas, even if they're only half formed as you're working, teachers do post them on the chat. Now, if you would prefer, therefore, not to have any spoilers during the next 5 minutes, don't look at the chat. Charlie, is there anything that you would like to add?
Okay, so can I just check? You want them to come up with a challenge for whatever number of counters you put?
Ideally, I think that would be great. So if you can have a think about, whatever number of counters. Obviously, as you're thinking, you may want to start off with a particular number to start with to focus your thoughts. But I'm not going to tell you at the moment how many counters we might have.
Because it might be quite easy to win if there are just 5 counters, I imagine. I think I could start and win. But if you were to put 55 counters on the table, it wouldn't be obvious to me what to do. So presumably you want everyone to think about what they would do with 5 counters, but then also think about what they would do for much larger numbers of counters.
Absolutely. Thank you for clarifying. Yes, please. Okay, so we're going to give you some time now. Have a little think. As I say, post on the chat if you've got any ideas, and then we'll see who can take me on. Okay, off you go. I'm just going to clarify the rules for a few people who have arrived a little bit later. So we've got a number of counters, and we're going to, it's a two-player game. You take it in turns to choose one counter or two counters, you take them away. The winner is the person who takes the last counter or the last counters. And we're asking you to think about how you might guarantee a win. Some of you are already offering your challenge. I'm ignoring all challenges at the moment, and we're going to wait until everybody has had a chance to think about it. Those of you who think you're ready, just rehearse your strategy. Would you be able to win no matter what, no matter how many counters we started with?
I think they might be ready for you, Liz.
Oh, do you think so, Charlie? Okay, I'm interested. Thank you so much, those of you who've been posting some of your ideas in the chat. There have been a few comments about this 3 counters at the end, which is really key. And I agree with those of you who've said, if on my turn I leave my opponent with 3 counters, I am absolutely guaranteed to win. And that's just as Charlie noticed when we got down to those 3 counters. There was nothing he could do. Whatever he did, I would win. Some of you are talking about odd and even numbers. Now, I'm not going to say any more about that at the moment. There are others of you who are trying to, having established that this 3 counters are important, you're actually thinking about the step before that. So this idea of thinking backwards, I reckon that could be a useful strategy. Okay, but now, come on, who's going to take me on? Let's see. We've got lots of, okay, I'm going to, oh no, I can't, they're coming in so fast, I can't even read. Okay, I see, so 6H, I saw class 6H. Let me see, this is impossible to keep track of.
I saw a school called Kingsfleet, Liz.
Okay. Okay, shall we go for a school called Kingsfleet? Kingsfleet, would you just like to message? Are you happy to take me on? Could I ask everybody to stop posting in the chat, please, now, because otherwise we can't keep track. So Kingsfleet are happy to take me on. Okay, so Kingsfleet, let me just show you here. I'm going to share my screen. Oh, look, Ems is wishing them the best of luck. Well, I don't know. There's loyalty from your colleagues, isn't it? So I'm hoping everybody can now see. So I have got here, Kingsfleet, some counters for you.
I'm on your side too, Kingsfleet.
Huh. Right, Kingsfleet, I am going to be very generous and let you go first. Off you go. Well, pop in the chat how many you would like. You'd like to take 2. Okay, so there we go. Kingsfleet have taken 2. I'm going to take 1. You'll go, Kingsfleet. Take 1, okay. I think, I might take 2. You'll go, Kingsfleet. Two this time, right? I'm removing 2. I'm going to take 1. Kingsfleet's go. Take 1, okay. So they're taking 1. I might take 2. Kingsfleet, it's your go. Oh, some people are saying, oh no. Uh-oh, no. Oh, look, Kingsfleet are being great sports and having a little laugh. They're saying take 2, okay. I think I win. I love the messages that are coming in now. So thank you, Kingsfleet. That's very kind of you to say well done. And thank you for being such good sports playing against me. Now, obviously, Charlie and I have played this game a lot, and we've really thought about the strategy. Now, we are going to leave it there for today, whetting your appetite. What was it I did then to beat Kingsfleet? Did I know I was going to win right from the beginning of the game, I wonder? We're going to leave you with these things to think about for you to try later back at school. I'm going to stop sharing my camera again now.
I'm just going to add, Liz.
Please do.
That when you put the counters on the table, I counted that there were 15 counters. It might be useful for everybody to know that you kindly let Kingsfleet start, but I know that there's a competitive streak in you, Liz, and perhaps you weren't doing that out of kindness. So everybody who watched the game can go off and think about whether 15 was significant or not.
Absolutely. Thank you, Charlie. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Now, what we're going to show you now is a linked game to this one we've been playing. Just to let you know, that game on the NRICH site is called NIM 7. We'll show it you briefly in a minute. The game of NIM is a very famous strategic game, and Charlie and I are going to offer you now another game which has got strong connections with the one we've just played. Charlie, over to you.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. And you said, so the next problem is called Daisy. And do you want to just run through what the rules are of this game?
Yes, of course, Charlie. So here Charlie has drawn what we're going to call a daisy flower, which has got 5 petals. And we're going to, again, play against each other. We're going to take it in turns. And this time, we're going to take it in turns to shade either 1 petal or 2 petals next to each other. So, and just like the game we played with the counters, this time the person who shades the last petal or the last 2 petals is the winner. Okay,
Liz.
Yes. Can I go first, Charlie? Or do you know how to play this game?
Actually, I think I'm going to always be able to win if you go first.
Really?
Yes.
So, okay, everybody working at school, did you just hear what Charlie said? Charlie reckons he can always win if he lets me go first. So in other words, he can always win if he goes second. Do we believe him? Watch very carefully. All right then, Charlie. So you'd like me to go first? Okay. I'll choose one single petal, please. It doesn't matter which one.
Presumably, it doesn't matter which one I shade.
No, it's all going to be the same, isn't it? So the position doesn't matter in this case. Thank you. Your turn.
I think I wanted to go second rather than first, didn't I?
Oh, did you say first? Oh, okay. Yeah, you wanted to go second. Hopefully we've clarified that. Yeah, so Charlie thinks that he can win as long as he goes second. What are you going to do, Charlie, then? Are you going to choose 2 petals or one on its own?
I'm going to choose these 2 petals here, which are next to each other. You said the rule was that I could choose either 1 or 2 touching. Exactly. Okay, your turn.
Oh, well, I think I'm a bit stuffed. I can see already because, well, I've got 2 choices. I can only choose 1 petal, so I choose the one on the left or the one on the right. But whatever I do, I think you're going to win. So it doesn't matter. Shade the one on your right, please, Charlie. And
you can't choose the 2 of them because they're not touching each other.
Exactly. So I can't win straight away. Yeah.
So if you choose that, I'll choose that.
Yeah.
Okay. Just to convince you that I'm confident, I've drawn a 9-petal daisy here.
Okay. Okay. So you still think that you're going to be able to win if you go second?
Yes. And
right.
So I'm not going to explain my strategy.
No.
But I'll just play it and let everybody see whether they can figure out what I'm doing.
Okay, so everybody, yes, yes, thank you for pointing that out. Charlie got revenge. He did beat me. Yeah. So let's watch what Charlie does and see if we can figure out what he's doing. Okay, Charlie, so I'm going to go first. I'll choose a single petal again, please. So yeah, it doesn't matter. The top one's fine, whichever. Right, so Charlie can choose 2 petals that are next to each other or 1 single one. What are you going to do, Charlie?
I'm going to choose these 2 petals which are next to each other.
Right, okay. All right, at this point, I'm going to choose 1 petal on its own. Could I choose the right hand petal, which is exactly next to the one I chose first, Charlie? So just going clockwise round to the right.
That one there?
That. Yes, please.
Okay, I'm going to choose this one.
Okay. Now, I'm starting to think a bit now. If I choose 2 petals next to each other, I think Charlie could do the same and win. All right, I'm going to choose 1 petal. Could you go clockwise again, Charlie, and choose the single petal right next to the one I chose last turn?
Okay.
Thank you for your support on the chat.
I'm going to choose this one here.
Oh, right. And look at this. We're back where we were before. Okay, well, yeah, I'll carry on going clockwise, Charlie. I'll take that single one on the right, but I think I have lost.
Okay, well, it might be.
What if I chose 2 petals to start with this time? Can we do that? Yeah?
Yes, I was going to give you the chance of starting in a different way.
All right.
Because I think both times that you've started by just colouring in 1 petal. That's
exactly right. So maybe it will make a difference if I colour in 2. Okay, so I've got to colour in 2 that are next to each other. So could I choose the one that's at 12 o'clock, if you like, and then the one that's clockwise round to the right from there next to it?
Okay. I don't think it matters which 2 you choose.
It doesn't matter at all, does it? Because of the symmetry. Yeah.
Petal, and they could end up at 6 o'clock.
Exactly. Okay. Exactly. All right then. So your turn.
I'm going to choose this one on its own.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to choose two together. Could I choose the two together that go round anti-clockwise from the top, please? So touching the very, yes, exactly. Those two.
Okay. I'm going to choose these two.
Oh, Charlie. I think you've won again. Okay. I'll choose, this time I'll choose the one that's about at 6 o'clock, please. I did get stuck. You're absolutely right. Yes.
And I'll choose it. Okay.
Okay.
So we're going to give everybody a chance to play this game.
Yep.
And I've got a 20 petal daisy that I've drawn. It took a long time to draw. And so the challenge is, can people work out what I'm doing? So first of all, play just like you played NIM 7 earlier. So you'll have to draw some daisies yourselves, and they can have 5 petals, or they can have 9 petals, they can have 50, it doesn't matter. But eventually, can you figure out what my strategy was? Why is it that I was so convinced that, irrespective of what Liz did to start with, I was always going to be able to beat her? And then we'll give you a chance of playing against me, and we're going to be really kind and let you go second. So
yes. So
give you the
some of you were saying, Charlie is saying that if he goes second, he can always win. So we're going to say that when we come back together in a few minutes' time, we're going to let you go second against Charlie. See if you can mimic his strategy. Okay. So let's give you a few minutes to have a think. Once again, if you'd like to post things in the chat, which a number of you are doing, do. And if you don't want any spoilers, try not to look at the chat for a while. Could I please encourage you to post in the chat about the strategy? That would be really good. Please don't keep posting the name of your school, because it fills up the chat very quickly and it means we can't see easily the mathematics that people are talking about. Thank you. I love the fact that many of you are posting some what we would call conjectures. So you're posting some ideas about what you think is going on, and then you're trying things out to try and prove or disprove your thinking. And it's delightful to see that some of you are saying, oh, well, we thought this, oh, but now we've tried something out and we don't think that anymore. That's exactly what good mathematicians do. So thank you. Should we have just another minute or so, and then we'll review what's come in and find a volunteer to take Charlie on. Okay, Charlie, are you ready, do you think, to take somebody out?
I'm ready. But I'm not expecting to win because of
the great strategies, exactly. Well, I am feeling a bit worried about on your behalf, Charlie, because we've had some interesting comments that something about the flower being divided up into parts, something about using opposite petals so the flower is separated, separating onto two opposite sides seem to have come up quite a lot. So anyway.
I'll leave you to choose the school that's going to play against me. Just don't choose a school that's feeling very confident.
So I would suggest that 5 Bronte, would you like to take us on? Take Charlie on. I don't know why I'm involving myself. I'm leaving this all to Charlie. 5 Bronte. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. I wonder if that's novelist Bronte.
I've numbered the petals, Liz, just so that it makes it easier for
that's really helpful
to just describe which petal they want shaded.
Okay, so 5 Bronte, we're going to assume that you're going to take Charlie on, and we said that you were going to go second because we've been asking you to develop the strategy as you go second. So Charlie, over to you. You go first.
Okay, I'll just, like Liz, I'll just shade one at the top there.
Right, 5 Bronte, would you like to post about what you'd like to do? Which petal or petals would you like to choose? If you just pop the number into the chat, that would be really helpful. I think they're having a think about it. Other people are chipping in. Okay, 5 Bronte, what would you like to do? Is that 7? Okay, they'd like to choose 7, please, Charlie. Right, so Charlie's go.
I'll choose 8.
Charlie's going to choose 8. Right, 5 Bronte. What would you like to do now? So you can choose 1 petal on its own or 2 next to each other. We'll wait for them to post 10. They'd like number 10, please, Charlie. Okay, so now it's Charlie's turn. Oh, there's a suggestion about
9.
Charlie, do you think you could use 2 different colours for each player? That's quite an interesting idea. Thank you. Would that be possible? I know it's possibly a bit late now.
No,
that would have been quite a useful thing just to keep track, wouldn't it?
Okay, yeah. So I chose 20 and they chose 7. I chose 8 and they chose 10.
Okay, brilliant.
And I've chosen 9.
Okay, fantastic. That's great. Thank you, Charlie. So 5 Bronte, what would you like to do now? And so class 5 Bronte are going to be shaded blue. 16, please, Charlie. Petal 16. So Charlie's go.
I'll choose 1.
Okay, Charlie's chosen 1. So 5 Bronte, your go. You've got some offers of support around you. I don't know whether you're taking any advice from other people in the chat. Let's see. Number 4, they'd like. Please. Right, so Charlie's go. Are 5 Bronte making you think, Charlie?
Yes. They didn't use the strategy that I'd been using against you. So I'm not sure they've taken advantage of being able to go second.
Okay.
So, okay, I'm going to choose 19.
Right. 5 Bronte, what is your next move? Those of you who are watching, as Ems is saying in the chat, I wonder if you can, number 14, please, Charlie. I wonder whether you can think about what does it look like 5 Bronte are doing? Is this what you would have done if we'd have chosen you? We've got fewer unshaded petals now, obviously. I wonder whether those of us watching think about what we would do. Just waiting for Charlie to take his turn. He's considering his move. Charlie's taking this game very seriously. He's thinking very hard. I wonder whether possibly Charlie is trying to, I don't know. I'm going to try not to distract him, but I wonder whether he has gone very quiet. Perhaps he's trying to think ahead. That's that idea where you might choose one. Oh dear, Charlie seems to have dropped out of the video, out of the call. Let's hope you can join again very soon. In the meantime, while we're waiting for Charlie to come back again, I wonder whether we can have a little look at what you think. I'm going to read back in the chat what ideas you might have had. I think there's some of you are saying that you would have made sure there's something to do with odd and even numbers. I wonder if that's important here. And that whole idea, I can see that you're thinking about the idea of splitting. Okay. Okay, I tell you what, as we've unfortunately lost Charlie, hopefully he will return. What I'm going to do is, we think Charlie got fed up of losing the game. I hope not. Charlie is a very good sport. He wouldn't go off in a huff. Because we have got only a few minutes left anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you where on NRICH you can find the 2 games we've shown you so far, so that back at school you can continue thinking. Let me share my screen. And I'm going to hope that you can see the NRICH website here. This is one of our latest features. It's called Playing Strategically. You can see it's enrich.maths.org/14886 teachers, should you wish to have a little look. You can't see it. Oh dear. Can anybody else? Oh, you can. Good, good. The two games we've just played and shared with you are called NIM7 here. A little video to remind you how to play, and also the other one that we've played is called, unsurprisingly, Daisy. Both of those tasks, you may notice, have got this little live button next to them, which means that you can submit your thoughts and ideas to us here at NRICH. If you do that by the 8th of July, there's a chance that your ideas will be published on the NRICH site. All you need to do is click here on that link on the left. You can upload files and let us know, have you developed a winning strategy? Can you win no matter what your opponent does? So that's your challenge for both those games. I see that Charlie is back again. We lost you momentarily, Charlie, so we weren't able to see the rest of the game. Would you like to go back to the game so that we can just see the end of it?
What I can't remember is whose turn it was, but if you stop sharing screen, I'll share my screen.
And let's go back to the game. Class 5 Bronte. I hope I've remembered your name correctly there.
Liz, you're going to have to allow me to share my screen.
I will do. There we go. You should be able to share now.
Thank you.
Some people thought you may have dropped out, Charlie, because you couldn't take the pressure of the game, but I was convinced that wasn't the case.
I noticed that there were some Openreach vans at the bottom of the road today, and I asked them whether there was any chance that my internet connection was going to be lost, and they assured me that it wouldn't. Okay.
So I think it was your go, Charlie, or have you shaded in a petal or petals? I think it was your turn.
I thought I'd just shaded 5, but I may be wrong.
Oh, great. Okay, so if you just shaded 5, so class 5 Bronte, have I remembered your name correctly? I think it's your turn again. Let's see what they say. Yes, you're 5 Bronte. Good. Glad I remembered that. We seem to think it was Charlie's turn. I thought it was Charlie's turn, but I think Charlie reckons he's just shaded the number 5. Have you you've literally, okay, yeah, good. You've literally just done that, have you, Charlie, the 5?
I think so.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, 5 Bronte. They're having a think, and they want number 2, please, Charlie.
Wrong pen.
Yeah, okay. I think they're blue, aren't they? Thank you. Okay, so now it's Charlie's go again.
I'm going to choose 11.
Okay, Charlie's chosen number 11. So, 5 Bronte. I realise that some of you, because we are at 11:45, 17 and 18, they say. Please, Charlie. We're aware that we're coming up to the end, but I think it's worth finishing this game.
Okay.
Charlie, what are you going to do?
I'm going to say that I'm confident I'm going to win now.
Ooh.
I'm going to shade 12.
Okay, so Charlie says he's confident he's going to win. If you agree with Charlie, perhaps you could post a comment about how you know. Why do you agree with Charlie? How does Charlie know he's going to win? But 5 Bronte, do suggest a petal. There are quite a few people agreeing with you, Charlie. Nobody has suggested why. Somebody's talking about an even number of petals being left. 5 Bronte, what are your thoughts? Something about there are 4 moves left. That's quite a nice way of phrasing it. Yeah. And it has to be 4 moves because all those 4 petals are separated, aren't they? They're individual. Yes, somebody's just said they're single petals now. 5 Bronte, what would you like to do? They're going to pick 3, they said, please.
I'll pick 6.
Okay. Charlie's picking 6. 5 Bronte. I think they're being gracious in defeat.
Okay, so thank you for participating. It's not easy to do with 200 schools participating and so many people watching. I did have a strategy that I was using against Liz, which guaranteed that when I went second, I would always win. And I knew right from the start that I would win. So our challenge to you is that after today, you play the game sometimes and see whether you can figure out what my strategy was. And don't start with 20 petals. Start with 5 and 6 and 7 and slowly build up. But eventually, you know, I think if Liz had 100 petals and she chose to color one of them, I would know which petal to color second because I've got this sort of winning strategy. So our challenge to you is to figure out what that winning strategy is. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that Liz can go back to, were you talking about the Maths Week London page?
I haven't quite got there yet, Charlie, but I will do now. So just before we leave you, let me share my screen one last time. I was explaining to you that you can send in your solutions, send in your thoughts and ideas about those games we've played. Finally, if you go to our Maths Week London 2021 page, so that's nrich.maths.org, MWL 2021, then you will have a little summary. You'll have links to the games that we've played. There are 2 more games that we haven't had a chance to have a go at there, but they both have interactivities. So you can play against the computer. And again, they have very similar, they are linked in a similar way, just as we said that the NIM game is linked to Daisy. And we just wanted to flag up that if you would like to participate, if you'd like to have a look at our summer challenges, then please do, teachers, sign up for our newsletter or follow us on Twitter, and then you will get the link to where they will be published. Each day from the 19th of July right the way through to the 31st of August, we'll be publishing a new strategic thinking challenge, often a game, to keep you thinking over the summer holidays. And we hope you enjoy having a go at those. We hope this has given you some preparation for thinking strategically. And thank you again so much for your contributions on the chat and for taking part today, wherever you are in the world. And we wish you a very good rest of your Tuesday.